Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we've got a really special one for you. We're going to be joined for a Q&A session from the team at PetVivo Holdings. This is a biomedical device company that's really focused on improving the quality of lives for various different types of animals. I'm super excited to talk about this one, their business model, and some of the ways they've differentiated themselves from other players in this space. But before we do, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you've heard of PetVivo before, if you're currently holding shares, and how you think they stack up to some of the other players in this space. Now, if you have any additional questions that we didn't get covered in today's presentation, feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll do my best to find you an answer. I personally respond to each and every comment. This is a great way to get a hold of me and I'd love to hear from you. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're joined by a special guest, the CEO of PetVivo Holdings, John Lai, to tell us a little bit more about his business and answer some questions in regards to their business model. So John, thanks so much for being with us today. We really appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you for having me on your podcast.
Excellent. So to kick things off, I'll leave a link in the video description below to the company website. The ticker symbol you can see on screen here trades on the NASDAQ exchange under the ticker PETV. Now, first question for you, John. For those of us who are maybe new to PetVivo, can you tell us a little bit about your history, how you came about this company, and what differentiates this business from some of the others in this space?
So for the last 30-some years, I've been investing in companies that I identify has a unique niche and disruptive technologies.
Okay.
And it has worked out well for me over the years. I've had some really good situations, and obviously you do have some bad ones. Sometimes you're a little too early. The market takes an extra 5-6 years to catch up. And, so I focus with that, and how I got involved with PetVivo was their patent counsel came to me and said, John, look at all the trials we have done on the human side. So the company was funded by initially NIH and the National Institute of Health and DOD, Department of Defense, for drug delivery and regenerative medicine. So all the science is pretty peer reviewed, and it was initially developed at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. So when I saw all that data, I said, wow, this is pretty phenomenal, but I don't want to go in the human side because I need so much money to educate the doctors, and it would take 5 years or so and 300 million just to get the first product out the door. So I said, let's go to the animal side. So we developed using the particles that were developed, we called the first product Spryng with osteocushion technology.
Yeah.
And so it's a great tool and disruptive tool in the management of osteoarthritis, lameness, and other joint afflictions. So we've been getting some really good results, and we've injected and treated over 1,000 animals so far, and literally every animal has seen a benefit of using our product.
Phenomenal. Yeah, and we're going to talk about Spryng, the sales pipeline there in a couple of questions. Really interesting you talk about that drug development process. We've covered a lot of biotech companies on the channel. Definitely is a lengthy and expensive process, as you alluded to. Now, the next question, I guess, is in terms of TAM, or total addressable market. My understanding is about 70% of U.S. homes now own a pet in some form or nature. How do you guys plan to address this market and take advantage of this huge opportunity?
So probably 80% of all dogs develop osteoarthritis when they hit age 8.
Okay.
So that's a very big market. It's about 11 billion in the U.S.
Yeah.
Large number of dogs in terms of 64 million dogs in the United States. So if you take the reverse of it, 20% right now have osteoarthritis. So it's about 15 million. And you also look at the feline market. So we have a cat product that will be coming online real soon. It's Spryng for cats.
Okay.
And then we currently service the equine market. So we believe we have a disruptive product that's quite unique in the sense that veterinary doctors do a single intraarticular injection.
Okay.
And it reduces the need of other pharmaceuticals. That's one of the big trends, as well as the human market and the animal market, is to use less pharmaceuticals. So if you look at our product, and I keep using the term disruptive, because veterinary doctors, when they come out of vet school and they do a diagnosis of osteoarthritis, they know it's a lifetime usage of NSAIDs and other types of products like hyaluronic acid, steroids, stem cells. Ours is, we got to tell them, hey, you can do a single injection, not worry about it until the next year's checkup.
Yeah.
So we say our product lasts at least a year, because in our human trials, we track the humans for a year, but in real world cases, it lasts well beyond a year.
Wow, eh? Yeah, and it's awesome to find a company like this where you can invest, you can make some money, and you can feel good about that investment. I know a bunch of my friends obviously have cats and dogs, and some of them do have these conditions. So that was one thing that caught my attention, or my eye, John. Now, narrowing in on the Spryng product itself, over the last 2 quarters, you guys have generated in excess of about $100,000 of sales. You've relaunched your website, so sprynghealth.com, petvivo.com. Again, I'll leave those in the video description if people want to go get more information. Can you tell us about this development and really what Spryng means to the company at this point?
Sure. It's our flagship product. We have 17 products in the pipeline. We also have 5 in the companion animal health space.
Okay.
So because of all the clinical work that was done on the human side, our product was declared as a human medical device. Now, when you look at the FDA, Center of Veterinary for Animals, they accept the human designation as a medical device, so they call it a veterinary medical device. It doesn't require any clinical work. So we're able to sell the product right into the market today, and we are. What we did was taking our time and focus on building the sales team. Mm-hmm. So we went step by step, and it's going to go, from the standpoint of, we got FDA risk is very low. Now the next step was to get production facility in place.
Okay.
So we put together a production facility that meets the human side of the FDA for medical devices. So we have ISO 5, 7, and 8 certification.
All right.
So the next step there was to bring in a team that has a proven track record of large-scale production of these syringes, because we're filling particles into syringes. Yeah. So we brought in Josh Wilhelm. Josh is comes from Medtronic, Schultz Diabetes, where they have millions of syringes. This is child's play. So we established that fact, and we brought in a team from there. But also that facility allows us, with very little CapEx, literally $200,000, and 120 days, we can go from 500,000 syringes a year, which would be top line revenue of $125 million,
wow, to
about 1 million syringes and $250 million top line revenue. So you can see the return on investment extremely high. It's a great problem to have. Yeah. If the demand out there justify, we can scale quickly. So the next step we did was bring in the marketing experts. So we hired Russ Sickle, who has 35 years in the veterinary space with major marketing companies, Pfizer Animal Health and Berman and Ingerheim, the number 1 and number 2 players in the world, where he was a senior director of marketing for those companies in launching veterinary products. Okay. So once we established that, we went to the sales side. We brought in Mark Middleton, who is president, and he's our national sales director, is president of Animal Health International. All right. Their company went from like 10, 20 million in sales to hundreds of millions, now close to $1 billion in sales in the veterinary animal hospital or hot products. And then we brought in regional sales reps like Rachel. She came from Covetris. She was pretty high up, managed a couple hundred salespeople. So every one of our people have seasoned years of proven track record. Yeah. So, yeah. And so that leads us to our distribution agreement, because you can see why we hired such seasoned people, because now they're going to support the sales reps from the MWI exclusive distribution agreement. And that agreement actually is quite unique in the sense that it's beyond distribution.
Okay.
It's actually, they're helping promote the product and educate the veterinary doctors, because they have a division called Securos, which allows doctors at trade shows and everywhere to get their continuing medical education credits for the veterinary side.
Okay.
They're going to be introducing Spryng in multiple applications. So if you go to Spryng Health right now, you see Dr. Tracy Turner have a 16-part video answering questions for the equine space. So we'll have a prominent vet like Dr. Turner, but for the small animals going through, so it helps answer all the questions, because veterinary doctors get trained in osteo or intraarticular injection in vet school, but they don't use it once they come out.
Yeah.
So we're able to really re-educate them, also show how it could be a profit center for the general practitioner. Because right now today, the gold standard treatment for OA is giving a prescription for an NSAID.
Yeah.
The problem there is they don't participate in the scripts writing. 10, 15 years ago, 30% of the revenue was from filling their own prescriptions. Now today, people just take a photo and send it off to Chewy, and they get the product for 50% less the next day, same brand.
Yeah.
So we're giving them a product that's only sold to the veterinary doctors, and the veterinary doctors are the only people that can administer it. So it's a big profit center for them potentially. Also, they're providing much better medical outcomes for the consumer. And given our product is a medical device, it's covered by pet insurance.
Okay, great. Yeah, great answer. A lot to unpack there. So it's longer lasting. It's a profit center for the vets that are actually administering it. So that's, I think, a key point to highlight there. Now, you talked about the production, the distribution. We're going to talk a little bit about that distribution agreement, the sales team, the marketing. So you really do have the key players and pieces set up now. And we talk about that a lot on this channel, specifically with these smaller high growth companies. It really is about the team and the people, which obviously you're aware of, John. And it sounds and looks to me like you've got that team in place. Now, you touched on this at the start of the response, but in addition to the Spryng product, talk to us a little bit about the pipeline, the intellectual property, some of the research and development, because my understanding is Spryng is your flagship product, but it's really only scratching the surface.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have 17 products in the pipeline, and each one addresses north of $1 billion a year in potential sales.
Wow.
And it's quite disruptive. So there's a lot of costs involved in commercially launching it properly. So the next 4 products is in the companion animal side.
Okay.
One is for urinary incontinence for dogs.
Okay.
We have had great clinical data with the pigs. We've done the study with pigs, and we were able to basically strengthen the sphincter muscle from 5 to 8x by just injecting the Spryng particles into the muscle. That in itself and strengthening it would close the bladder from preventing leakage. So we had great success with animals there. So that's a future product. We talked about Spryng for the cat market. Cat market is really expanding and growing. And a lot of it is due to Zoetis. Zoetis is launching a monoclonal antibody, which they expect to do about $480 million a year in revenues.
Wow.
And they're helping us educate the veterinary doctors how to diagnose for cats. Because what happens with cats is when they develop osteoarthritis, they tend to just start sleeping more and not be as energetic. So people think, oh, my cat's getting older. So the vets, when they learn how to diagnose it properly, can have various treatments for it. So, we feel our product is the only product that really addresses the root problem of osteoarthritis, which is the bone-on-bone contact.
Okay.
All the competitive products are masking the symptoms, and then there's multiple side effects anytime you use pharmaceuticals.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that's great. Great detail there. And you talked to this a little bit. The next question was kind of about the FDA approval process in humans versus animals. You mentioned kind of it gets fast-tracked once it has the human approval. It's cleared on the animal side. Any other comments there, John, or do you feel you've pretty much addressed that point?
Well, the major breakthrough we got with the FDA is that these particles injected into a human body we got them to declare it as a medical device. So when you declare it as a medical device, you don't have to do phase 3 of human clinical trials.
Okay.
You can go right into what is a 510K or a PMA. We tell people we have to do a PMA, which usually PMA takes 18 months to 2 years and probably $3 million, which is significantly less than phase 3 of a human trial.
Yeah.
That can go anywhere from 30 to 300 million, so we have a significant advantage if you look at a product pipeline on each one of the products because of that designation. And then going into the animal side with that designation, it's automatic where you don't have to do or submit any clinical data to the FDA on the animal side. But we are doing a lot of clinical trials. You can see that. And those trials are more for marketing for the salespeople out there.
Okay.
Because trials generally, if you can increase a dog's mobility by 5-6%, it's considered a major win. We're blowing those numbers through the roof. There isn't any published data, but from 1,000 animals, we got a pretty good clue of where the situations are going to lie in the real world. Because most docs, when they try our product, they're looking for the train wrecks. They have tried everything, nothing's working, and then they inject and we see improvement. We know the dogs that are in those studies are middle of the road. They're not the extreme cases that we've been treating. I mean, we've been treating labs, 13-year-old labs that can barely stand, and after we inject 4 joints, the dog's running up and down the stairs. So we're seeing results like that, and we're pretty excited to improve the quality of life of the dogs, as well as the pet owners now can run with the dogs and enjoy life with the dogs. And one of the markets we're really expanding that doesn't exist out there right now, that I would argue is that we're creating a situation where a dog has been prescribed to have a joint replacement. We feel we could extend the life of the joint.
Okay.
Multiple years. Also, for people that can't afford to spend $6,000-$7,000 on a joint replacement, we're given an alternative that probably costs the consumer about $600 versus the $6,000 to $7,000. So we're allowing situations like that, dogs get put down. They won't be getting put down, and they'll have several more years of enjoyable quality of life with the owner and the dog. So that's a pretty big market there.
Yeah, for sure. And it really is a shame, but you're right. A lot of people just don't have that amount of money, and then ultimately the dog has to be put down. And I like how you said the pet owner's quality of life, because the friends and family that I know that their pets have this, it really does. They can't go on walks anymore. They can't go on runs. They can't play fetch. So I think it obviously is a huge benefit. And then those pet owners are going to tell their friends and family, and like you say, it kind of snowballs. Now, the next question was in relation to the distribution agreement you guys signed with MWI Veterinary Supply Co. Now, I know you mentioned on the distribution in the prior comment there, but again, if you want to add more color to this one, feel free. This is a major milestone for the company, from my understanding.
Yes, so MWI is probably the leading distributor company in North America.
Yeah.
Probably close to 80% of all vets buy their products through a distributor. So MWI has relationships with 90% of the vets that we would be trying to market to. So our original plan before landing MWI was that we would have had to hire this year about 35 salespeople. Now we're probably going to hire an additional 5 regional sales managers to augment the existing 4 we have.
Yeah.
So you could look at it from a pure number standpoint. We went from 4 reps to 400 territorial managers and 300 in-house salespeople. Just by that basis, we're getting access to a lot of vet clinics. And
for sure.
So we feel very good about the relationship, given that MWI has to hit certain minimums. So it's not like a sales rep writes an order and then we ship to that clinic. They're actually issuing a PO, buying it, and putting it to multiple distribution centers within the United States. And then they sell to the veterinary doctors. So they're taken down, and then they have to hit certain minimums to maintain their exclusiveness. And if they hit certain milestones by end of year 2, they get an extra year of exclusive distribution.
Okay, so performance-based, which is awesome. And that's exactly why you needed that new production facility. Obviously, with increasing sales, distribution, you want to have product. And you alluded to that as well, John. So that's phenomenal. Some of the numbers you stated there in terms of production capacity, top line revenue estimates, really quite impressive for a company of this size. Now, aside from some of the other catalysts we've covered, and I know we've covered a lot in this video already, is there anything else for investors, viewers to keep an eye on over the next couple of months or quarters in terms of kind of near-term catalysts for you guys?
Sure. So we got the Ethos study, which is Ethos is a private organization that do clinical studies for the FDA and so on.
Okay.
Aratana had Galliprant done by them, which was their top osteoarthritis drug. So very well respected. We should be getting data from them October this year.
Okay.
So it's not far away. So we think that's a catalyst event. As well as we got a whole series of other studies for different joints. So Colorado State, Dr. Felix Dewar is considered one of the top experts. And I think we engaged him, I think May of 2020, but then COVID hit. Yeah. So we got dogs into the study and we got a lot of data that we can't use because people couldn't bring their dogs onto the campus for like 8-9 months. So, but we did see results that were really good. So we anticipate that study will be complete December of 2023. Those are on elbows. The Ethos is on the stifle. And then we got a study, I can't remember who it is, on the hips. So the three major joints will have real good clinical data for the marketing people to really drive the veterinary doctors. So there's a key catalyst. And then the initial shipments to MWI is a pretty good catalyst. And that's days away. It's a matter of integrating our computer systems for ordering. I mean, it's amazing. It's not a simple plug and play. You know, our guys have been on it for a couple of weeks and now they're telling us, John, it's no longer weeks, it's days. So we got our fingers crossed that first week of August, we're done and ready to ship, you know.
Awesome.
So yeah, we got great catalysts there. And I would tell people to go to our website and look at the management team. Yeah. My chief operating officer was CEO of Taxo Medical, took that company to almost $2 billion market cap. My CFO was the chief operating officer and CFO of Taxo, beat 11 straight quarters. Piper Sandler took them public, you know. Wow. Across the board, we have guys that have ran billion-dollar companies, you know, all the way through. So you don't see that in a micro-cap company where guys that have been extremely successful says, God, I want to be involved with this company because we're changing the quality of life for people and animals. Yeah. And that's more of the focus. But yet we're all able to make money because we're really providing a solution for people for the management of osteoarthritis and other joint afflictions, as well as, you know, I didn't talk about the lameness market. And lameness in multiple situations where somebody has done a joint replacement, vets have injected into that joint and the rehab time's cut in half. Okay. Plus they have injected the bilateral joint because 80% of the bilateral joint will fail within 18 months of an original replacement. So you're looking at $12,000 of procedures that we could be saving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how the vet bills can add up. And again, the dream team, it sounds like you've got there, John. It's funny you say the system integration technology. It's great when it works and it's frustrating when it doesn't, but glad to hear that it's gone from weeks to days. Now, to close things out, you said people can visit the website. If they want more information, again, it'll be linked below. What's the best way to reach out to the team here, ask questions, if they want to get more details from you, John?
You know, there's a investor contact page they can send questions into, and one of us, well, they'll probably come to me eventually. So if it's a technical question, that I can answer it that way.
Sounds good. So before I get to the closing thoughts, you guys, really interesting company here. And what I love about this, John, it's a win-win-win, right? The vets are winning, the animals, the animal owners, obviously your company, PetVivo Holdings. So really a feel-good story here, feel-good investment. Do you have any closing thoughts for the group, for the subscribers, the viewers watching this video?
No, I just think, they need to look at capitalization. We're only at a 21 million market cap. And if you look at the comparable companies, I think, we're undervalued. And obviously, if you look at management, we've been buying the stock open market and privately through exercise of warrants where we're actually writing checks.
Yeah.
So that's all public information in our Form 4s.
Okay. Yeah, that's important. We talk about that a lot on the channel as well. Management insiders putting their money where their mouth is, right? And you can really see that again through the public disclosure. John, thanks so much for being with us today. You guys, if you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value. So make sure you hit the like button. If you have any questions for John or the team, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get them answered. Again, if you want more information, check out the investor deck, check out the PetVivo website. That's all for now, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day and see you in the next video.